Rev up your engines!
Peter Grant says, Scotty, what are your opinion of something like STP, heavy-duty ceramic oil treatment, where 1 quart replaces a quart of regular oil? I found it at the same price as synthetic oil. Okay, a lot of that stuff to me is hype. Heavy-duty ceramic oil treatment. Now, I have no idea what the percentage is, and you'll never find out because those companies don't care. They're not going to tell you. They say it's a trade secret. They'll never tell you exactly what's in it, right? I personally would never mess with something like that. What happened with some of these additives people bought, they would actually clog things up. They would clog up the oil feed on the oil pump, which is metal, the screen, and the engines blew up. Slick 50 ages ago got sued, had to pay a fortune in fines because they had destroyed some taxi cab engines because people put it in and it clogged up the metal screen on the oil pump and the engines blew up. So I personally would never touch any of that kind of stuff. Who knows what it's going to do and how much of anything is in it, and really, what is ceramic going to do floating around in your engine? Now, there are engines that are ceramic coated. They build them that way, but that's a very high-tech technical process when they're manufacturing the engines. It's not just, oh, pour this crap in, it'll seal it. I don't really believe in any of that stuff. Alexander Dorr says, I got a Nissan Rogue 2019. All of a sudden, it tries to start and shuts off, but on the second try, it comes on and drives fine. What do you think? You got some kind of a minor flaw. Always start with the simple crap. Change the fuel filter, change the spark plugs and the air filter. If that fixes it, great. Away you go, right? Now, if that doesn't fix it, often you get carbon buildup. Watch my video. Make your car run better with a little spray cleaner, and you can get some throttle spray cleaner and some mass airflow sensor cleaner, and you can clean it, and you'll probably find that'll fix the whole thing, right? Now, if it doesn't, it could mean your fuel pump is starting to go out. But I mean just barely starting, because you say if it starts on the second one, it runs fine. If the fuel pump was really going out, you wouldn't be able to go 60 miles an hour because it couldn't pump enough fuel. So more often it's carbon buildup, and those cleaning things can often fix it. Steve Sabota says, I got a 93 Jeep Cherokee, ABS lights on. What scanner do you recommend for OBD1 ABS? Well, here's the problem. OBD1 doesn't give you much data, right? And you're not going to go out and buy a Jeep factory scanner for a 93 Jeep Cherokee. They cost a fortune. But if you can find one, go to eBay, look around on the internet. The old Snap-on, we call them Snap-on brick scanners. If you can buy one that has the cartridge for a 93 Jeep, buy it. It will allow you to access the ABS information. If it was a later model one, you can buy, there's some good scanners out there that only cost about $350, $400 that will do that. They won't work on that old one. You'd have to get something like an old Snap-on brick scanner, make sure it has the cartridge for the Jeep, and you can access that information. You just have to find one. You know, they don't make them anymore. They're antiquated, but a lot of guys will sell the old ones, and if it's got the cartridge for one, I've got one lying around somewhere. In Tennessee, it's in one of my boxes. I rarely see something that old, but if I do, I find the old box and I plug it in. Ernest Stone said, what are your thoughts regarding Subaru car brand in general? Would you own one? I probably wouldn't, because now, they're not horrible cars, but they're made too cheaply. I'll give you a perfect example. Take a Toyota engine. It's got nice gaskets throughout the engine, right? Head gasket, valve cover gasket. The Subarus are boxer engines. Valve cover gaskets, and they got 2 gasket setups on a bunch of these engines. They are using silicone glue. When the engines get older, the glue dries up and they leak. Take it all apart and replace them. Now, you put more silicone, it'll dry out. You can get aftermarket gaskets that fit them. They are made by aftermarket companies, right? And that's the best way to do it. But they should have built it that way in the first place. And doing something that cheap tells me I don't want to buy one of those things. Archie says, what are your thoughts on an '09 Jeep Liberty with 200,000 miles? Had a lot of work done for $7,000. All right, I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. The Jeep Liberties are kind of crappy anyways, and you say it's already had a lot of work done. Well, let me tell you something. There's a lot more work coming. Those are endless money pits when they get to be that old. The engines, the transmissions. I would not buy one of those. They started making those Jeep Liberties, the quality started going downhill. And now, if you notice, they're going to be making a bunch of Jeeps in Italy. They're making them in a factory in Italy because, of course, it's an Italian company, Fiat, that bought them, and then Stellantis, which is still a European company, and they're pulling all their stuff out of the United States and either moving it to Mexico or Europe. I wouldn't buy that car for $7,000. I wouldn't buy that car for $700. Skeptical Science says, do you have any favorite wax products to help keep the finish like new? Yeah, I like the new finish. It's in an orange orange bottle, and it's not a wax, it's a polish. But here is the kicker, and I'm always honest about everything. I like that stuff so much, I bought a case of the stuff. It's just me with 2 cars, right? I still got tons of them left, not open. People tell me that the new finish, kind of oxymorons, but the brand new and then new finish, which is NU finish, isn't as good, that they cheaped it out, that they don't make it like they used to. So I can't really tell people to buy the new stuff, because I got stuff that's over 10 years old in a case, and I still got half of it left, and it works phenomenally. But people tell me the new finish isn't as good. So if that is the case, like if I run out, but it might last me another 10 years, so I don't know. And I like it and it works fine. But if it did run out, I like this company. It's a small company, and it's called Lithium, just like the element. Lithium is a small company that makes some excellent products, and I like all their products, too. They really work great. Dex says, what's your opinion on 02 Hyundai Santa Fe diesel automatic? All right, well, it depends where you live. They never sold those in the United States, to my knowledge, so you would never want to buy one in the United States where you're going to get parts for that diesel, right? If you're somewhere else in the world, the engines are pretty good. Those diesel engines are pretty good, but the automatics are their weak points. You would want a mechanic like me to check out the automatic transmission and the engine while he was at it before you buy something like that. But like I said, if you live in the United States and you get one of those imported in, don't buy it. You're never going to get parts. You're not going to find anybody who knows how to work on those things. Stay away from cars that aren't sold in the United States unless you're a car collector like Jay Leno, and you're not going to drive them much. Then you don't really care. Scotty, should I change the tranny fluid on 05 Corolla, 200,000 miles and never change? My mechanic says the fluid isn't burnt, but I'm worried. I would leave it alone because that's 200,000 miles. If it's still working, leave it alone. You don't want to chance it with that kind of mileage, and he says it's not burnt. Toyotas make really good transmissions. Truthfully, I've seen Corollas with 350K on it that the tranny was never touched and they were still working. So you change it now, it might start to slip and have problems. Don't mess with it since it's working, and it is a Corolla. They're pretty well made. MC says 04 Acura TSX takes 20 minutes to start blowing hot air from a cold start. What could it be? Start with the numero uno. Replace the thermostat. If your thermostat isn't staying closed long enough, say it's stuck open, it's going to take a long time to get heat. Now, let's say you put in a thermostat and it makes absolutely no difference. Then I would say, if there's no air in the system, make sure it's all purged of air. But if there's no air in the system, you're going to need a heater core. Because over time, and that vehicle is what? It's 20 years old. The heater cores will clog up. And when they clog up, they don't put out much heat, and it takes a long time to heat you up because they don't blow heat anymore. They can't dissipate heat because they're corroded inside. Realize they are made out of aluminum, and aluminum will pit and corrode over time, and then it can't dissipate the heat. But change the thermostat. Simple fix. That usually is the problem, that it's stuck open. And then you put a new one in, it stays closed until it's hot. Shouldn't take more than 5 minutes to get heat on that car at the max. I told you I forgot, says Scotty. I got a 2015 Toyota Sequoia. It wanders slightly in a skinny lane on I-45 in Houston. Can you tell me what I should look out for? First thing you want to do, go to a front-end alignment shop. Have them check the alignment. It's easy, it could be the alignment. The roads in Houston are full of holes too, just like they are here in Rhode Island. It could be out of alignment. Start there, it's a simple thing. And tell the alignment guys, check everything, because to align a car, all the parts have to be good. If you have a worn ball joint, tie rod, they can't align it. So they check that, the good ones anyways. Not the young kids who don't know what they're doing and just plug it in a computer and say, well, this is what the computer says. No, they'll actually check your parts, and if your ball joints, tie rods are good, your struts aren't worn out, then they'll align it, and that should fix your problem. But if they say, well, you need a tie rod or a ball joint, you're going to have to fix that first. Zep Roosdauer says, after draining a Honda CVT, how much fluid is still trapped in the transmission? There's still tons of it still inside. That's why I tell people with Hondas, you got a CVT, just learn how to drain and fill your fluid yourself and do it every 30,000 miles. It's a simple thing to do. And since you're only changing a percentage of it, you want to keep it clean that way. So change it every 30. Learn how to do it yourself. Watch my videos that show you how to do it. It's not hard to do. And use the Honda original fluid. Don't mix it with some other kind. Who knows what additives mix with what. Use the Honda fluid. It's been said, Scotty, I still drive my 09 Ford Crown Vic with 84,000 miles. Last decent vehicle Ford made. Panther platform, solid frames, and you only got 84,000 miles on it, so hey, it's still got tons of life. I've seen those things with 300K, and they're still running strong. And when you think about it, at highway speeds with their transmissions, they still get decent gas mileage. They're pretty gas hoggy in town, yeah. But on a highway, they're decent gas mileage. And it's one of the last decent vehicles they built. And you notice Ford's really not even making cars anymore. Mustang's it, right? They're not even making cars. They're making SUVs and trucks. That's all they care about. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.